Barbara, thank you for visiting the WaterAid in Rwanda. It's really a rare opportunity to have the Chief Executive visiting a new country program like Rwanda. We are halfway through our global strategy. What can we learn from the work we are doing in East Africa as an organization to deliver the global strategy?
Well, thanks, Nshuti. First of all, thank you for having us in Rwanda. We've loved being here, the city of the 1,000 hills and the million smiles, and visiting the work yesterday was wonderful. So halfway through the East Africa regional meeting, and I think we've been talking around the globe actually about the same themes. To deliver this strategy of ours, how are we going to make sure our work is sustainable? And we've heard a lot from the country programs about sustainability. We've also been talking about effective partnerships because, as we know, the way WaterAid has always delivered its work is by investing in local partners, whether that's government or NGO or private sector. And we've heard lots of examples from the East African region about that and how we need to really build those partnerships. And then we've heard a lot about making sure that our advocacy work is really focused so that in the next 2 years we're very clear on what it is that we're trying to achieve. We know that long term we want the vision of water and sanitation for all, but short term it's what can we do and how can we really show that we've had an impact in our influencing and advocacy work. So those are the sort of outside, looking out things that we need to do. And then looking in, I think we've all talked about how can we make sure our processes and systems are fit for purpose, that we're not being so subsumed by internal work that we're not delivering high quality, effective services or support to partners. And one of the big things has been better planning, better budgeting, and therefore better high quality delivery. And we've had a lot of debate about that. It's been great.
Yeah, the global strategy, there are targets in there and indicators and targets that we aim to achieve as an organization. So what is your assessment of progress towards achieving those targets that we set ourselves to reach?
Well, we made good progress in that in terms of looking at the numbers, we said that we were going to reach 25 million more people with water and sanitation in the 6 years. In the first 3 years, we've delivered 37% of that. Not 50%, but we did say that it would be an upwards trajectory because as our programs grow and develop and new countries come on, like Rwanda, which is delivering more services to people, then hopefully by the end of the period, we would have delivered around that 25 million. So I think we're on track. But we can't be complacent. We've got a lot more to do. And with the influencing work, we had a target around 100 million, but we said that that was a visionary target to help us see that our work, whatever we were doing, should amplify the impact. And so we should use our research, our campaigning, our good practice work to really encourage others to do more. And so we put the figure of 100 million because that's 4 times as much as we're doing ourselves, because that's what we would hope we would be able to achieve. But that one we need to monitor through stories and this focused advocacy work. I think we're making good progress there, but we've got to be really clear about what we want to achieve in the next 2 years. And then the last sort of numerical target we had was around how much money we would need to raise to deliver that work. And again, it was an estimate, but we said we thought we would need to raise globally £100 million or the equivalent thereof. And we think we're doing quite well on that, so that at the moment we hope that by 2015 we will have together across the globe raised about £97 million. So as long as we keep on track, keep pushing, keep growing our coverage, keep growing our impact, I think we can make it, but we need to make sure we don't forget about being quality, sustainable, equity. We want to make sure our principles of equity and inclusion. And of course that we don't burn ourselves out, we don't want excessive workloads, and that we manage our staff well, and that we really show good leadership.
What is your impression of our work in the communities we visited yesterday, WaterAid's work in Rwanda?
Well, it was wonderful to have that opportunity. A country, for me, I've read a lot about, and I've heard about the work you've been doing, Nshuti, with the team here. So actually to see it with our own eyes was just terrific. I mean, first of all, to say what a beautiful country, and clearly lots of water around, but it's making sure it's safe water to drink in the right places. And obviously having a government with a commitment to universal access by 2020. Very ambitious, courageous, but that's good because we want to make sure there's the real political will, and there clearly is. So what we saw was some excellent work in schools, some water storage tanks, large scale, appeared to be really good engineering, well designed. The tanks had water in them. The children were talking about the change that it had made to their lives, no longer having to walk long distances, getting dirty water from the swamps or from an overcrowded water source. And we heard some great tales. I really enjoyed meeting Jackie and Colin, who were telling us about how it used to be when they used to have to miss much of the schooling in the afternoon because they were collecting water, and how now they could go to lessons and that there was water close to their school and close to their dormitory blocks, and that there were decent toilets and that there were safe spaces for girls as well for changing and washing. So we were really impressed, and it was good to hear the stories.
Yeah, Barbara, you talked about your impression of the work that we are doing in Rwanda, and I'm pleased to hear that. Are there any areas you think we could improve on, or anything that you thought we could have done, or we are doing less well and could do a little bit more?
What we saw looked very well engineered, so that's excellent. We met some of the committees. We weren't always, I wasn't always sure whether they were really committed and were in the lead. And it would have been good to have seen perhaps more women involved as well as men on the mixed gender committees. So I'd encourage you really to continue building on the community management, because that will be the long-term success of a lot of those pieces of work. And I suppose the other thing that we talked about yesterday was while there may be set pieces of work in terms of improved hygiene that the government's promoting, and through the NGOs we're supporting, we're wanting to support that as well. But it's also trying to, I guess, step back from that and try and work with the community to hear what their priorities are. And for instance, in the village without any water, it felt that the first step might have been to help them get some basic water storage happening, water off the roofs or something, so that they had water closer to their communities. So I think it's the community management. It's also the focus on making sure that things are sustainable, which the two are the same. Making sure the partner organisations are strong, and we're going to hear more about that this afternoon, so we're looking forward to that. And I guess it's bringing your learning, because I know you've been to visit work on fecal sludge management in Durban, and I know when I went to visit that I was quite shocked by some of the information they gave me about how long, say for instance, the eggs of the Ascaria worm can live in human waste, and how you really do need to treat it very well, otherwise you can be promoting a problem, even though it's good fertiliser. So it's just balancing up opportunity and risk. And actually I was very impressed with what the Minister said on this, because her approach, which was to say it's better to get minimum amounts of suitable quality but not high quality water to everybody, so we do it step by step. I thought that was really interesting actually, and I suppose for our work it's how do we make sure the minimum standards are there and the work is really sustainable, and then kind of build on that. But kind of encourage you to keep doing the good work, keep working with the communities, and build on that community management and the gender mix as well.